If you receive SSI, here's the truth. Your living arrangement can change your payment faster than almost anything else. It can affect how much you get, whether you stay fully eligible, and even whether the SSA decides you suddenly owe them an overpayment. And the surprising part? Many people get penalized even when they believe they're following every rule correctly. So today we're going to break down the real SSI living arrangement rules, the hidden triggers that cause reductions, and the legal ways to protect your full benefit even if you move, get help from others, or your household situation changes. Some of these rules are rarely talked about, but they affect millions. Before we jump in, make sure to like and subscribe to Social Security Post because we post daily updates that protect your benefits. And if you have any questions about your SSI, SSDI, survivor benefits, or anything related to Social Security, please drop them in the comments so I can answer them directly. Now let's get started. Because just one misunderstanding in this area can cost you real money every month. Living arrangement rules determine how SSA decides your payment amount, not just your eligibility. SSA looks at your living arrangement every time you report a change, every time a roommate moves in or out, and anytime they perform a redetermination. The SSA divides your situation into categories. Living in your own household and paying your own way. The category that gives you the full federal benefit rate. Living in someone else's household, receiving free food or shelter, living in a medical facility, or living in a group home. Each category can change your check dramatically. Many people are shocked to learn that something as small as someone else, paying part of your rent, even without your request, can legally reduce your SSI check. The reason this rule matters so much is because SSI is based on the idea that the government gives you a certain amount only if you cannot meet basic needs without assistance. So if someone else helps you with things like food, rent, electricity, or groceries, SSA may decide you need less money from them. This is why the VTR rule, value of one-third reduction, exists. It allows SSA to reduce your benefit by one-third if they say you're getting free support. Understanding exactly what counts as support and what doesn't is the key to keeping your full benefit even when life changes. When you live in your own household and pay your fair share of the monthly living expenses, you usually receive the full SSI federal benefit rate. This is the safest category because it means you're responsible for your share of rent and food. But the SSA has a strict definition of paying your fair share. Even if you pay rent, they can still say you're not paying enough if your portion is considered below fair market value. For example, if your rent is very low because a family member charges you a discounted rate, SSA may say you're receiving support and your payment can drop. The best way to protect yourself is by making sure that rent agreements are in writing and that the amount is clearly something you actually pay. Roommate situations must also show that everyone contributes fairly. SSA will look at utilities, rent, food costs, and who pays what. If they believe you're paying your full share, even if the amount is modest, you stay fully eligible without reductions. Many people avoid cuts simply by updating a written rental agreement to show they contribute properly even when living with family. If SSA decides you're living in someone else's household and you are getting both food and shelter from them, you can lose about one-third of your SSI payment under the VTR rule. This reduction applies even when the person helping you didn't intend to support you. The SSA only looks at whether you're receiving free or discounted living expenses. Many people fall into this category when they temporarily move in with family or during life changes like divorce, eviction, illness, or a breakup. The tricky part is that the VTR rule is not optional. SSA applies it automatically when they believe you qualify for it. But here's the good news. There are several legal ways to avoid being categorized under VTR, even if you live in someone else's home. If you pay your full share of household expenses, even a small contribution can sometimes be enough to avoid the reduction. Keeping receipts and written agreements is crucial. The SSA needs proof that you're not being fully supported, and without documentation, they often assume you are. This is one of the most misunderstood rules in all of SSI. In-kind support and maintenance, ISM, means you receive food or shelter for free or at a discount. SSA counts that help as income, even if you never received a penny in your bank account. ISM includes groceries, rent help, free utilities, or someone else paying your light bill. If SSA finds you received ISM, they may reduce your benefit by up to 1/3 or apply a presumed maximum value PMV penalty, which can cut your check by hundreds of dollars per month. Many people get penalized because a family member buys groceries occasionally or because someone paid part of their rent once during an emergency. SSA can apply PMV for even a single month of support. The strongest way to avoid this is by having clear agreements and making sure you pay for your share of food and housing. Another legal strategy is keeping household expenses separate. For example, buying your own groceries and not participating in shared meals if you're unable to contribute equally. The key is documentation, clarity, and making sure expenses match your reported living arrangement. Who you live with can drastically change your SSI payment. If you live with a partner, SSA may assume shared expenses even when you don't actually share anything financially. If you live with adult children, SSA may see it as them supporting you unless you pay fair rent. If you live with parents, SSA almost always looks for ISM unless a proper rental agreement exists. And if you live with a roommate who earns income, SSA doesn't care about their income, only whether you're receiving support from them. One of the biggest misconceptions is that simply living with someone automatically changes your SSI. It doesn't. What matters is whether they provide food or shelter. If everyone pays their own portion, and you can show that with records or agreements, SSA cannot reduce your benefit. But if someone pays for you regularly, ISM penalties apply. The easiest strategy to stay fully eligible is to establish fair share contributions and make sure everything is reported clearly and on time. This protects you during redeterminations and prevents sudden overpayment letters. If you live in a group home or assisted living facility, SSI payments follow different rules. In many states, group home residents receive a reduced benefit because food and shelter are provided. But some states offer special supplements that increase your SSI amount depending on the level of care you receive. For hospital or nursing facility stays lasting a full calendar month, the federal SSI payment may drop to a very small amount. The most important detail is that temporary stays do not always trigger reductions, especially if they are short, medically necessary, or if Medicaid is paying the majority of costs. You must report all stays, but reductions do not apply automatically if you return home quickly. Understanding these exceptions can protect you from losing benefits unnecessarily and can help you avoid overpayments that often follow unreported facility stays. SSI requires you to report any change in living arrangement within 10 days after the month the change occurs. If you move, if someone moves into your home, if a roommate leaves, if a partner starts contributing to your bills, or if you receive temporary help, you must report it. Failing to report quickly can lead to large overpayments, even if the change wouldn't have reduced your benefit. SSA looks at your living arrangement on a month-by-month basis. That means if you temporarily stay with someone during an emergency, even a short stay must sometimes be reported depending on whether food or shelter were provided. The best strategy is to document everything: written rent agreements, receipts, household expense lists, and monthly contributions. Proper reporting protects you from future problems, especially during SSI redeterminations, which are becoming more frequent. There are several lawful ways to avoid losing part of your SSI payment. Paying your fair share of household expenses, even partially one, can keep you out of VTR. Rent agreements with family can prevent misunderstandings. Keeping separate grocery purchases can eliminate ISM problems, and recording contributions each month can protect you during SSA reviews. You do not have to live alone to receive full SSI. You simply must avoid receiving free support. Another overlooked protection strategy is explaining household operating expenses clearly to SSA. They must use a specific formula to calculate your share of cost. If SSA miscalculates or assumes something incorrect, you can challenge it and win. Many SSI reductions are reversed when beneficiaries present receipts, rent agreements, and written statements showing they were not receiving free food or shelter. Being organized is your strongest financial defense. SSA errors are extremely common. People are placed in the wrong category, given unfair reductions, or receive overpayment notices that don't match their real situation. If SSA says you received ISM but you didn't, you can challenge the decision with a reconsideration appeal. Providing rent agreements, receipts, household expense breakdowns, or statements from roommates or landlords can overturn the penalty. If you truly received help but cannot repay an overpayment, you can request a waiver showing that you did nothing wrong and cannot afford repayment. SSI rules allow for waivers when the beneficiary is not at fault, and repayment would cause hardship. Many people successfully avoid repaying thousands simply by filing the correct form with proper explanations. Understanding your rights is essential. SSA does not always get it right. Life changes, sometimes overnight. You may move, lose housing, take in a roommate, split bills with a partner, or need temporary help from family. The good news is that SSI rules are strict but predictable. If you know how the rules work, you can stay fully eligible, avoid unnecessary reductions, and prevent costly overpayments. Your strongest protections are reporting changes quickly, keeping documentation, and understanding whether your situation falls under your own household, someone else's household, or ISM rules. No one should lose part of their SSI simply because they didn't understand the rules. With the right steps, you can protect your monthly payment and stay fully eligible even when your living situation changes unexpectedly. If this video helped you understand SSI living arrangement rules more clearly, please like and subscribe to Social Security Post. We break down complicated Social Security rules so you never lose benefits simply because no one explained them. And remember, if you have any questions about SSI, SSDI, survivor benefits, or anything related to your Social Security payments, please leave them in the comments. I read every comment and try to answer as many as possible. Thank you for watching, and stay informed so you can protect your benefits.